Hello, hi, how are you? This is gonna be a bit of an unconventional video. So, it's National Donut Day. I had to represent. Also, I moved rooms. So I'm still in the same apartment, but I am now across the hall and this is a bigger room. So yeah, also, because I'm in a new room, I wanted some new furniture. There's probably an echo in here. I am very sorry. I can't help it. So you've all seen my, well, if you've watched my red versus unread video, you've seen that I have this nice little cube bookshelf thing, okay? And I know most of you are used to seeing that dingy little black bookshelf that I always sit in front of. Well, I hate that one, and it was only the price of a book anyway, so that's still in the other room. I'm giving that to my new roommate, and I bought, haha, a new cube bookshelf, but this one's a 6 cube instead of a 4. So yes, all right, I'm going to attempt to put this together. I've put together the dingy black bookshelf before, so hopefully this one won't be too difficult. We'll see. So also I need to do my May wrap up, and I figured I only read 3 books, so it was a bit of a slump. I'll also kind of talk about what triggered my book slump and why I didn't read so much, why I was on a bit of a Twitter hiatus. If you follow me on Twitter, you might have noticed I wasn't very active. I mentioned it a few times, hey, I'm not gonna be super active. I didn't watch any booktube for a while. I didn't even talk in front of a camera for several weeks. I had everything pre-filmed. So I'll talk about that later. I'll talk about books first. So I'm gonna try to explain my thoughts on the 3 books that I read in May while trying to build this. So this is probably gonna be a hot mess, but we're gonna do it. Okay. It's probably not a good idea for me to try to put this together by myself, but are my ideas ever good? No. Maybe I should put my hair up for this because I have a lot of it. Okay, so the first book that I read last month, in May, was A Curse of Dark and Lonely, which I actually have a physical copy of in the living room, but because I am a professional booktuber, I am not going to grab that at this moment. Oh, is this directions? No. It's just if you want to buy more stuff. Okay, so the first book I read was A Curse of Dark and Lonely. I'll put a picture here, by Bridget Kemmerer. This is a Beauty and the Beast retelling. What's new? And it follows 2 perspectives. The first perspective is our main girl, Harper, who, oh gosh, this is gonna be difficult, who has cerebral palsy, and obviously I don't have it myself, but a lot of people are saying that the representation of that is really well done. I personally thought it was really well done as an able-bodied person, so I don't know how much that counts for, but yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I love Harper. She is, I'm gonna lower this a little bit. Y'all, I am such a professional booktuber. Okay, she is the furthest thing I've ever seen from damsel in distress. She is feisty and fierce, and I love her with my whole heart. And our other main person, our other perspective, it's gonna be a lot of noise, I'm sorry, is our handsome Prince Wren, the beast of our story, who I really like how Bridget Kemmerer did the curse, because he's not a beast 100% of the time, he's actually human for most of it. And he has to live the August or fall of his 18th, I think, birthday, until he can get someone to fall in love with him. So, that always works. So, we also have Gray, who doesn't have a perspective, but he's the classic brooding, YA guy, and he is the only person left in the castle besides Prince Wren. And he was captain of the guard or whatever, and he's Ren's homeboy, you know? And I know that like everybody pretty much ships him with Harper, and I knew that going into it, so I like was trying to actively not ship them because like they're not gonna be a thing pretty much ever. I'm pretty sure I saw somewhere that Bridget Kummer said that they were like never gonna get together. So I was actively trying to not ship that, and by the end of it I could see like why people would, but I don't. I actually really do genuinely like Harper and Ren together. Oh, there's one more piece, okay. Okay, all right. Anyway, I get why people would ship them, but I like Ren and Harper. Okay, you know what? I need this space. Cool. Okay, so, oh, there's a lot going on here. Directions, need this. All right, I'm gonna try to collect my thoughts while I also build stuff. Love that for me. Where was I? Okay, so basically it takes place in 2 locations, primarily one, but also it's, you know, in another as well. Harper, our main girl, she lives in modern day Washington, D.C., which is really cool for a fantasy novel. And her dad like left or whatever and owed a lot of money to a lot of bad people, so Harper's brother, Jake, I'm pretty sure is his name, he has to like kind of do a lot of shady things to like try to pay back the loan, and Harper's kind of like his lookout, so he's basically like being a loan shark. Did I use that right? I don't know. Anyway, so he's like trying to get people to pay them back, you know, in any means necessary. So Harper's looking out for him when she witnesses Gray like carrying an unconscious girl and looking real shady. So my homegirl picks up, I don't know if it's like a crowbar or like a tire iron. I think it's a crowbar. It's something metal, and like whacks Gray on the head, and instead of the unconscious girl going back with Gray to Emberfall, which is where, you know, the whole fantasy part takes place, that's where Prince Ren lives, Harper goes back with Gray to Emberfall, not on purpose. And so that's kind of like how they meet or whatever, and then, you know, Harper like gets a whiff of the curse and she's like, oh, I'm not gonna fall in love with you, blah blah blah, I need to get home to my brother, you know. And her mom has cancer, like her mom is like on her deathbed, and she's like, I need to get back to my mom, I need to get back to my brother, like I don't know if my brother is like okay, I don't know if my mom is still alive, like I need to get back. And then Gray and Ren are like sucks to suck, like you can't. So yeah, but despite all that, you know, there's like some romance sizzle between Harper and Ren, and you know, but Harper's like super stubborn, which I love her, I get it, homegirl needs to get back, but also like just fall in love, sweetie, like it's okay. So I really like how they did the curse because you know, like I said, Ren's not a beast 100% of the time. Like over the course of every autumn, like he slowly turns into the beast, and like he has no control what he does when he's the beast, and it's like a different beast every time. And I need to separate these, and it's a different beast every time, you know, it's not always like the same animal or whatever, and or creature, what have you. So he doesn't know what he's going to turn into, and this is like his last chance, because there's like this evil enchantress, of course there is, and her name is Lilith, and she just kind of like pops in every once in a while to torment Ren and like hurt him. And you know, there is some like trigger warnings for like, you know, like torture and like body gore, is that what it's called? There's also like mentions of like suicide and like suicidal thoughts, suicide attempts, because Prince Ren has like tried to off himself so many times, which like I get it, you know, he like killed his whole family, so that's not a spoiler, he killed his whole family, so like I probably want to die too. Anyway, I really liked this book. I gave it 5 stars because I was in a really rough rough place when I read it, and it was exactly what I needed. It took me to Emberfall with it. And because I just really did not need to be like here and in my own head, so it took me somewhere else, and I really appreciate that for me. And it was just a genuinely good read. Like, I really, really enjoyed it. And like when I was finished with it, I just wanted to, like, yeah, I wanted the sequel obviously, but like I just wanted to reread it just so I could like keep reading it. I didn't reread it, but like part of me still kind of wants to. It was good. I really liked it. I definitely recommend it. I know Beauty and the Beast retellings are like so overdone, but it was good. It was really good. Okay, maybe I should like actually try to put this together. Would be good. It seems to have pretty similar system to the other one I put together, so that's good. No, it little hurts. I should like. Hey. Okay. So, my thoughts on the book. Yeah, I said it's good. I enjoyed it. I did actually really like the romance between Harper and Ren. I'm not going to get into any spoilers here. I'm not going to talk about the ending, but there is going to be a sequel. And it definitely did not end the way that I was expecting it to, like, at all with any of the characters. I was watching Sarah over at Simply Sarah do a book chat about A Curse of Dark and Lonely, and I really like how she mentioned the whole like two villains things, because there's also like this other villain that we don't actually meet, but like she's mentioned, and she has like this, you know, army that's like trying to invade Emberfall, and there's a lot of like political stuff in the book. Actually, I was kind of surprised because Ren like does deeply care about Emberfall, but he hasn't like gone out to the public in a while, and even though they don't all repeat the same autumn, like time still moves a lot slower than normal, so it hasn't been as long for them, but it's still like they don't repeat it. So because of Harper, he ends up going out and like meeting, you know, his subjects and stuff, like not meeting, but you know, like revisiting them and stuff like that. So there's a lot of like political stuff happening, and anyway, there's, I forget her name, it's like Karis something, and she's like gonna invade. But I like how Sarah talked about like, you know, there being two villains, like, you know, there's Lilith and there's also Karis whoever, and instead of just like focusing on one, like they're both kind of like bad people. So I like how she mentioned like just make Lilith have an army. That probably would have made it a little better. I did like Lilith. Like, I didn't like Lilith, but I liked her. I wish we'd gotten a little more from her, because like I said, she just kind of like pops in randomly. So I do wish that we'd gotten more from Lilith, even though I kind of hated when she popped in, because that meant that she was torturing Ren. But yeah, overall, I mean, like, it was a good time. All right, while I'm trying to start this, the next book that I read, which, I mean, I didn't read anything for like a couple weeks, because I didn't even start reading A Curse of Dark and Lonely until almost a week into the month, because I had started a bunch of other things for Sailor Moon-a-thon, but because of a lot of outside factors, which again I'll go into later, I was enjoying what I was reading, but I was not in the right headspace for it. I still had a really good time, and I'm super happy that I at least like attempted to participate in Sailor Moon-a-thon, because it was genuinely such a good time. Like, I am so thankful to Bee for putting it together, because you could tell that there was so much heart, soul, time, and creativity put into it. And yeah, it was really fun. Like, it was nice to feel a part of something, even though I barely contributed to my team. Sorry, Team Venus, but you know, I tried. I still had a lot of fun. I didn't read the group book. I mean, I'm still actively reading it. Like, I actually just started reading it again now that I'm in a better headspace. But the group book, Beds Over Flowers, I'm still reading that. I'm still really enjoying it. Like, it's a solid, good book. It just, you know, my head needed to be elsewhere. Same thing with The Sun Is Also a Star. You know, still listening to the audiobook for that. That was the Team Venus book. It's great. I'm loving it. Like, I love the audiobook for it. It's just, I'm being really picky right now, because I'm like, now I'm getting over my slump, so I think I can pick it back up. But yeah, again, I'll talk about like where my head was later. But yeah, so I technically failed Sailor Moon-a-thon because literally the only requirement was to read the readathon book, and I didn't do that. So anyway, the next book that I actually did read was Roomies by Christina Lauren. This was my second Christina Lauren book, and I am like trash for them now. So I really liked Roomies. Basically, it's about this girl named Holland, and she has like this crush slash obsession with this guy who she doesn't know him, but he's like a busker, like at like the subway station or whatever. I think that's what it's called, busking. I don't live in a city, like an actual city. I've never used a subway system, so that was fun. But yeah, he's like this really talented guitarist, and she like finally talks to him one day, and her uncles, she has like 2 uncles who own like, no, they don't own the theater. Where am I at? Okay. Oh no. Okay. Well, her uncle, like her blood uncle's husband, her other uncle, like wrote this play called It Possessed Him, and so he's like super like successful. We're just gonna use that word. I don't know if that's the word that like I initially wanted to use, but we're gonna use that. So he's really successful, and he like runs that show in Broadway or whatever, and she works like at the theater, selling t-shirts, taking pictures, whatever. Well, the main guy, or the main like violin player, like leaves It Possessed Him like in a fit of just rage, and they're about to lose like the main like singer actor dude anyway because his contract is up. So like they have someone new coming in to play the lead, but now they're like, we don't have another violin player who's as good. Like we have this other violin player, but like she's not as good, and doesn't like really want to do it. So Holland is like, what if you get Subway Dude to do it? And they're kind of like, what? Like he plays guitar, he plays in a subway, like no. So literally all I've done is just like separate the pieces into piles. I'm not even putting this together yet, so love that for me. Anyway, okay, step 1. I need piece D. This is piece D. Okay. So basically, wait, hold on. Okay. Basically, they like bring him, they find out his name is Calvin. I think she was calling him like Jack or something before she knew his name. So they find out his name is Calvin. And do I hammer this in? Gently? Okay. Is it in? We're gonna say that that's in. Cool. So they bring him in to audition because her uncle goes with her like to the subway, and he's like, okay, like he's pretty good, like let's just bring him out to audition, whatever, see what the other people have to say, but you have to make them think that it's their idea, like don't even say that he's auditioning like for this specific part, like whatever, we're just bringing him in. So they're like, oh my god, he's actually fantastic, wow, like Holland, you're a genius. So they call him later after they decide like, hey, yeah, we want him, because they're like, hey, like you need like come play this part, and he's like, oh well, I'm actually here illegally because I'm from Ireland, so thanks, can't. So that sucks. So, and okay, so I didn't actually read the back of the book before I started it. Like I had no idea what this book was about, but I totally called it. I don't think this is a spoiler because I mean it's pretty obvious, and I'm actually kind of dumb because it's called Roomies, and on the title like it literally has 2 wedding bands as the 2 O's, and I'm like a dumb bitch. So they do like a wow, the dumb bitch energy is just especially strong today. So they do like oh my god, what is it called? They get married. So they can like fool the immigration people, whatever that's called. They do that. So they get married, and they're like, oh my gosh, like we have to make it seem legit, like okay, I need these last. we have to make it seem like legit, like we have to know everything about each other, like, so Calvin moves in with Holland and like sleeps on the couch, and they're just kind of like navigating like around each other, whatever. Meanwhile, you know, Holland has had like this big crush on him, so I need to do this to both, yes? Yes, okay. Oh, there's 3? What? Since when is there oh my god, I'm so stupid. Duh, I'm looking at like my 4 cube. This is a 6 cube. Obviously there's gonna be more pieces. Why am I surprised that actually hurt? Y'all, I'm a mess. I'm so sorry. This is gonna be the longest video ever. Okay, so anyway, they get fake married. Well, I mean, they actually get married, but they get fake married, and they learn all about each other, and, you know, obviously by the end of it, like, they fall in love. Like, come on, it's a romance book. It's Christina Lauren, you know they fall in love. I really liked Holland as a character, because I was almost expecting her to be kind of similar to Hazel from, like, you know, Josh and Hazel, but she wasn't. Like, she was her own character. I really liked that. I have, like, review notes in my phone somewhere that I probably should have looked at before I made this, but like, me prepared. We don't know her. So anyway, it was really good. It was cute. I do still think that I liked Josh and Hazel's Guide to Not Dating better. Not to like compare the two, but I mean, they definitely had very similar vibes. Different stories, definitely different characters, but just, you know, the overall vibe of like the Christina Lauren book, you know. I do think I like Josh and Hazel's Guide better, but I liked the ending of this one, because, I mean, if y'all watched my last wrap up, y'all know that I did not like the ending to Josh and Hazel. I'll put that up here somewhere. Not, obviously I don't give away like what the ending was, and I don't really specifically say why I didn't like it. I just didn't. I don't even know if these are like going in far enough, but we'll find out. C, what's C? Wait, there's no sticker on this one. What's C? That's A. That's also A. What? Okay, I guess these are C. Okay, big boy, that's fine. Okay, so, yeah, overall I really liked it. It was funny, you know, it was cute. I was rooting for their relationship. I really like how one portion of it was handled. Like, obviously at the time I was annoyed because, you know, it was like the conflict or whatever, but I was happy that it wasn't like miscommunication, because that's so overused, you know, and like I'm pretty sure that was used in Josh and Hazel, but it wasn't miscommunication. What am I putting in here? Oh yeah, the wooden things. Wait, where? In the middle? Okay, cool. This isn't really a spoiler, you know, because that's the wrong character. Because Holland had, you know, had a huge crush on Calvin, you know, from the subway. Well, Holland's friend, whose name I forget, but she was like severely annoying, is like, basically gets jealous because she's like the crazy friend, and she gets jealous that like, you know, Holland did something crazier and blah blah blah. Now she has like this cool, you know, like Irish husband and blah blah blah. And she like took this big risk and is like crazy. So she's like jealous, and she ends up like getting really drunk and like telling Calvin, you know, while Holland's there, that Holland had like this big crush on him and blah blah blah, and like, you know, would like go to the, you know, because she would like make stops at the subway that she didn't need to, like just to listen to him play guitar, which, I mean, you know, mood. But yeah, she like told him about that, and like obviously he reacted kind of negatively because like hello, like we're not on equal footing, like you actually liked me before this marriage thing, and like you confronted, like you came to me about the marriage thing, like, so that was a whole mess. But I like how it was handled really realistically, because I mean, like, yeah, anybody would kind of like freak out a little bit about that. obviously they like resolved it, but I really like how that was handled. So overall, it was a really good book. I think I gave it 4 stars. Actually, I don't think I've even technically rated it on Goodreads. Yeah, I'll give it 4 stars. 4 stars seems good for that. Cool. Okay. I'm gonna try to put this together a little bit before I talk about the next book. So the last book that I read in May was a book that I got from NetGalley, so thank you NetGalley, and it was a 5-star read, and that was Red, White, and Royal Blue. Yes, I am finally a part of the crowd because I know everyone else has read this book and loved it, so you know, had to join the party there. But yeah, I read Red, White, and Royal Blue, and obviously I loved it because it was fantastic. If you don't know what Red, White, and Royal Blue is about, it's about Alex, who's the son of the president, and it's like the first female president. This was like, takes place like if the 2016 election like had gone to like, it's kind of like an alternate universe kind of thing. Like if after Obama, this lady, Ellen Claremore, had become president. Obviously not a real person. So Alex is a part of what's called the White House Trio. It's him and his sister, and then their best friend Nora, who I think her grandpa is like the vice president or something. So they're all best friends, and you know, they get into like a whole bunch of like White House shenanigans, and they're just like friend goals. I really loved the friendships in this book. Like, holy crap, I loved June, the sister, and I loved Nora, the best friend. They were both so dimensional. Like, all of the characters, that's my biggest thing about the story, is all of the characters were phenomenal. Even like some of the White House staff that we get to meet were just so fleshed out and wonderful, and like there's so much like girl power in this book. Like, even though the 2 main characters are guys, like there's so much girl power in this book. I freaking love it, and the diversity is like really good too, because I mean, like, you know, Alex is bisexual, and then I think Nora is also bisexual maybe, and then there's like this lady, I forget her like role, but she works for the president in some kind of way. Like, I forget if it's security or whatnot, but her name is Amy, and she's trans and is wonderful. And then Zara, like, love of my life. She could and would kill me, and I would thank her for it. Anyway, they're all wonderful. And basically Alex has like this rivalry with Prince Henry of, you know, Wales, and because his grandma's like the queen or whatever, and has like this big rivalry with him, and it's like mostly one-sided because Henry's just like chilling, like, doing his own thing, and it's enemies to friends to lovers, and they like ruin this cake because Henry's brother gets married, and like they get in a fight and like topple over this, you know, $70,000 cake, and because they were in like a brawl, you know, all the tabloids are like, oh my god, like they got in a fight, blah blah blah. So now everyone's like, we have to fix this like international emergency. So they're like, y'all are now best friends. Here's a sheet with a bunch of info about each other. Learn it. You're gonna go hang out with him this weekend, you know, back in England, and yeah, now you're best friends, so deal with it. So they have to like fake be friends, and surprise, it turns into real friends, and then surprise, there's feelings. This book was literally so cute. Like, I'll leave a link to my Goodreads review down below. Like, I give a lot more like thought out, well written stuff. But I even said, like, you know, the first line of it, like, this book was so freaking sweet to give me a cavity. Like, it's so cute. I mean, it definitely has like your daily dose of angst, don't get me wrong, but it's so cute, holy crap. Yeah, it was really cute. I will say, like, my biggest complaint is that it went from like enemies to friends so quickly. Like I feel like they just started getting along like almost instantaneously. I wish there had been more of like a rivalry kind of thing, like, and the rivalry wasn't super fleshed out. Like it was just kind of like, oh, Alex thought that Henry was like kind of rude to him at the Olympics, so now they're like, you know, mortal enemies. So I wish that it had done a little more with that, and, you know, and had them be like mad at each other for longer. But other than that, wait, where does the arrow have to point? I'm so confused. Yeah, so I wish that they had gone like from enemies like to friends a little slower. Like if there had been more of an actual like rivalry or like a reason for them to not like each other, I think that would have made it a lot better. But with that said, as it went on, I did like the pacing a bit more. It only really took me a couple more chapters to like, okay, this is what we're doing now. That's fine. I'm good with this now. But, you know, at first I was definitely like, that was really fast. Wait, hold on. Do I have enough little wood pieces? I don't have enough wood pieces to do this again. I'm so confused. Oh, I'm an idiot. Okay. Okay. So apparently with these, only one of them needed all 4 pegs, and the other 2 only needed 2. So, cool. I don't know which way it goes. I don't think it matters. I'm just going to take 2 off on both. Also, these come out really easily. I don't know if that's like, you know, my fault because of my hammering skills or lack thereof, but whatever. Cool. Okay, we fixed it. All right. Awesome. Okay, so this is good. So now I need to do this piece. All right, so yeah, other than that, I really enjoyed myself with this book. Like I said, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I think it's super freaking cute. Yeah, I just really liked it, you know? And it was just a solid read. Okay, I'm going to try to put some more of this together. So I'll like speed it up, and then I'll talk about what's been like going on in my life if any of you care. So while I'm putting the last two pieces on, it's going really well so far. I'm actually kind of impressed. I'm just gonna give a little bit, just like personal info to anyone that cares. You can, I mean, feel free to skip this part, like if you just want to see the finished product, or if you care. If you don't care about my personal life and you were only really here for the wrap-up part, then I don't blame you. You can go, no hard feelings. This is just why, like, I was in a reading slump, and then also kind of just like what's been going on in my life lately. So I went back home to Florida for just a little under 2 weeks. Recently, I've only been back, I mean, a couple days. What day is it? It's Friday right now. I got back, oh, well, I guess I've been back almost a week now, because I got back Saturday night. So I've been back almost a week. What kind of started to trigger my reading slump, which was a lot of factors. One, I was almost done with school, so that was getting pretty stressful. I had finals coming up. Two, work was just getting really stressful. I've been doing my job on and off for 3 years, so like it takes a lot for me to get stressed at work. I'm a barista at Target, and because I do work at Target, we're always understaffed. There's hardly ever more than 2 people working at a time, and even that is like very rare. During the week, it's only ever 1 person at a time with like no overlap. But because I've been doing it for so long, like it really doesn't affect me that much. But combined with school, like it was really, really stressful, and like hours were changing, and it was just this whole ordeal. And then also my grandpa was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer in his kidneys, and the tumors traveled up to his lungs. So it was really difficult to deal with that amongst everything else. And I didn't really explain what was going on. Like, you know, in my last vlog I explained I got some family news that wasn't very good. I'd already known about the cancer, but there was just a lot of other factors going into it too. He was like 87. So amongst like a multitude of other things, like, you know, heart problems, like, you know, blood pressure problems, just all this stuff on top of the cancer. So that kind of really just like put me into this downward spiral of just being a ball of constant stress and not being able to focus on like anything, especially reading. So that started my reading slump. That's when I decided to pick up A Curse of Dark and Lonely, rather than, you know, keep reading, because I was also reading The Beauty That Remains, which is one of my favorite books of all time. It deals with grief. I was not in the headspace for that. And then reading Beds Are for Flowers, even though it's like, it's a fantasy novel and it doesn't really necessarily deal with like death the same way that a lot of other books do, it's still a factor, and I just wasn't in the headspace for it. So I had to put both of those down, which grief is like one of my favorite things to read about, because my experience with grief had been so limited. But anyway, I wasn't in the right headspace for it, so I ended up reading the other 2 books while I was in Florida, which the timing was just really perfect. I had had my trip back home planned for a couple months. I went just, you know, a few days after my last day of school for the year. So that was good. You know, I was able to get away. And you know, my sisters were going. Both of my sisters live in Virginia. I'm currently living in Oklahoma, and my parents live in Florida. So I don't really see my sisters very often, but we are very, very close. There's a very large age gap between us. They're like 7 and 9 years older than me. But we're all still very, very close. I mean, they're like my best friends. So we hadn't all been together in a very long time, but we were gonna be able to have like a sister trip. It didn't really go as planned. When we got there, my grandpa, who I had just seen at Christmas, who seemed to be completely fine, was withered away to practically nothing. And you know, his whole life, he was a writer. You know, he was so incredibly articulate, you know, one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. Just seeing him, you know, skin and bones and barely able to form together sentences was very hard. And in the last couple days, he was completely bedridden and went from barely being able to talk at all to not talking to just sleeping for the last day and a half. So he ended up passing while I was there. I'm despite like, you know, I feel like I'm gonna cry, but I know I'm not going to. I am doing much better now, but it was really, really hard while I was there because we knew he wasn't gonna make it. We were hoping for a miracle, but it was just his time to go. So I ended up being there a few days longer than I was planning. I was planning on leaving like that Thursday. I ended up not leaving until Saturday because Thursday we did the memorial and then Friday we did the funeral. So that's kind of been what's going on in my life lately. So that was really the biggest factor to my reading slump and just my overall mental health. But yeah, so I'm better now, but that's kind of like what happened. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna keep putting together my bookshelf, but that was kind of a little update, just for anyone who cared. But yeah, I was supposed to be doing this while I talked, but I can't chew gum and walk at the same time, so. Y'all, I did it. I did it! Oh my gosh! I built a bookshelf by myself. Look at it. Oh my god. I'm so happy. It's like stable and everything. Dude! I built this! Oh my gosh. Get these warning stickers off. I built it, like, by myself. I know, like, I'm not surprised because I'm a girl, like, pfft, excuse you. I'm just surprised because, like, it's me, and I'm not usually like this coordinated or like handy. But your girl is independent AF, so I'm pretty freaking stoked. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm gonna move this so I can like set it up real quick. Oh, I'm so freaking excited. Like, I did this myself. Yeah. Okay, let me make sure that, like, doesn't need to be facing any specific type of way. No, we're good. Okay, cool. I did it. Look at how freaking beautiful. Yeah, I literally just have like one shelf put together. I just have all my contemporaries on one shelf because I got a few new ones in the mail. So I'm really excited to start all of those because I'm in such a like romance contemporary mood, which I'm not surprised because it's summer. Like last summer, like I read so many contemporaries. Like that's when I read the whole like To All the Boys I Loved Before trilogy and started like reading just a bunch of like random stuff like, you know, Tell Me Three Things and Alex Approximately, and yeah, I just really love romance for summer. But anyway, dude, it looks so good. I'm literally so happy right now. Like, oh, they look so good together. I'm so excited because I had that dingy like black bookshelf and I moved it in here and they looked so ugly next to each other, and like I'm so particular with stuff like that. But look at how good that looks together. I'm so happy. Also, mini room tour apparently. My room is like really bare and like minimalist right now. I almost like don't even want to move all my stuff in here because like all of my belongings are in the living room creating chaos. Also, my roommate's Guatemalan flag is still up, so I guess she'll come back for that next month when she comes back to the country. So she doesn't live with me anymore, so that's sad. But I got a new roommate, so that's glad. Yeah, I built a bookshelf, guys. Oh my god, I'm so excited. I'm literally so proud of myself. Like, it looks so good. Oh my. Okay. I'm going to end this video because I have an hour and 17 minutes of footage. So this is gonna be a blast to edit. All right. If you actually watched all of this, like, go treat yourself to like a piece of cake or something because you deserve it. And I will see you next time. Bye, guys.